everyone, it's Kathya. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm participating in an Easter card collaboration with Micah, a talented crafter and card maker whom I met via a Facebook group. So the bunny holding the heart is my card, and this one right here is Micah's with the scratch off feature, and how cute is that? So in the video description below you'll find a link to Micah's card and channel, so please be sure to check that out. So back to this cute little critter. This guy's so cute, but let me share my struggles with you so you can have a good laugh along with me. So I don't have a bunny stamp for this collaboration, but I decided to go in search of a digital stamp instead because I don't really typically send out Easter cards. But I found this little freebie critter called Bunny Love on a website called From the Heart, and that website will also be listed in my blog and in the video description below. So I love the image, but I wanted to color him with my alcohol markers, so I wanted to somehow try to emboss him. And I figured the best way to do it was to use my Zig two-way glue pen to outline the image, so then it would dry with a tacky type feel to it, and then the embossing powder that I was going to use would just stick to it. So it wasn't the most perfect option, but at least it turned out cute in the end anyway. I just wish I had a little bit more of a fine liner pen to do the embossing with. And yes, I could have used a Versamark pen, but the nibs on that one too was still a little too thick. So I thought the Zig two-way pen did the best job. So a couple of things I noticed is even when you see me color the image along down the way later on in the video, I noticed that the paper I'm using just really isn't the best for this technique, and I should have used a really good like Bristol Smooth cardstock or whatever. I think the results would have been a lot nicer. But in the end, when you put a lot of work into a card and you start it, and hindsight's always 20/20, you just want to keep on going. So that's what I did. I just kept on going. So here I am, I'm just brushing away some extra static, and I always try to do stamp 2 images or print, in this case, print 2 images so that I could work with the one that turned out the best. And this one here is not the best, so I wound up not using him, but I used the one that's on the left that you can't see that's out of video. So as card makers, we usually try to be perfectionists. Well, at least I do, because that's just the way my brain works. But this is one of those cards where I really should have started over on a different type of paper. This paper is, even though it's heavyweight, it's not the best quality type of paper, and I should have used Bristol Smooth, but in the end I was like, okay, I'm this far along, I might as well just keep on going and see what happens and see how it turns out. So I put the Zig two-way glue pen down and outlined the image, and you can still see the ink on the image, but once you emboss it, it sort of disappears, which is nice. But I struggled with this card so many different ways, and in the end you'll laugh along with me because I made such a huge colossal mess of this card, but through card surgery I kind of fixed it. So here I was heat embossing it, and you see how those little bumps are on the embossing powder? That's probably because of the Zig two-way glue pen that doesn't allow for a smooth finish on the card. But in the end I sort of like go with the whole thing and keep it as is. So not paying particular attention to the size of this card panel with the bunny on it, I knew I wanted to have a really thin border around it, like a mat. And I'm not really good at measuring things, like I can't stand doing that because I go nuts with a ruler, but I do love this tool. This is a We Are Memory Keepers a guide that allows you to put a trim around your border however deep or however wide you want it. And I wanted a 1/8 inch, so I just selected the 1/8 inch side, and I didn't do it right the first time. This is my first time using it, and I should have pressed harder with my craft knife there, and I didn't do that, so I kind of ripped the edge of it. But what you do is you just butt it up against the image, and you have your mat down below, and then you push down really hard, and it creates this beautiful finished mat without having to do any guesswork. And for me, that's perfect. I love that. So while I am speed coloring here, shazam, I wish I could color this fast in real life. I would whip out so many cards, right? But I digress. Anyway, I wanted to share with you how I met Micah. I was contacted via a Facebook chat from another woman named Jerry who invited me to join this group called the 2500th Blog Hop. And it's just a Facebook group of us ladies who are interested in bringing a little bit more visibility to our channels. And I was invited, I jumped on, they did a huge blog hop. I didn't have enough time to join, I was busy doing other things, but this is a collaboration I'm doing with Micah, and so she invited me, and I thought, how fun, this will be a neat way to introduce her to her channel, and then perhaps other people will be interested in learning a little bit more about me and my card making. So as you can see, I'm coloring the little bunny's face, and I went right over his eyes because I planned to use some Nouveau black drops on his eyes to kind of make them pop and everything, and also his nose. And you'll see the nightmare that happens in a little bit with that too. So I just kept experimenting with some warm grays, and if you are interested in the color choices that I used for this particular shading and stuff with the bunny's skin color or fur color, I should say, let me know. If you can't see them here on the video, I'm so happy to put them on my blog for you so you can see exactly what color. So I'm just keeping in that warm gray color tones, and there's really no rhyme or reason, and I do know how to shade quite decently, I would say, but I'm not an expert. And the more I colored with this, with these inks, it wasn't so much the inks, but if you see this, it looks really like a hot mess. The inks do blend out after a while, but I kept on coloring and saturating the paper. And even though it has that black cardstock below, I could just tell this paper was not a good choice. So that was another mistake. But I just kept going with it. I put so much effort into it, right? So I kept going. And then I thought, well, I don't want my bunny to look like he's floating on the air. So I decided to put a ground base on there with like in gray to make it look like he was standing on pavement or something. And if you look at that, still the colors are not blending really well. And I really regretted using this paper because so much effort went into embossing him and all that stuff. And I thought, I cannot turn back now. So here I am adding some Spectrum Noir sparkle pen with my sparkle pen. And then I pulled out what I thought was glossy accents like the Nouveau crystal drops, and I put white on it. And I was like, what did I do? Then while I was putting white on it, I touched my hand into his little bunny nose, and I had to do some serious card surgery. And I was so mad. But look at my hands. Look at that. That is not ink, folks. That is the Nouveau crystal drops. So off camera, I worked really quickly, and I removed the white crystal drops off of the heart, and I put the Spectrum Noir sparkle pen back on it, and then I put the clear crystal glaze on it. So I think it turned out cute. But look at my hands. They are a hot mess. They're staying a hot mess till the end of this card. So I was going to do some little crystals, and I did dip my Nouveau crystal drops in this pink color off camera onto the side just so I wouldn't get a glob. And then, wouldn't you know it, I do it towards the bottom, like here in a couple seconds you'll see. I pull it up straight up like I've been doing, and all of a sudden I get this wacky bubble. And look at that. I'm just like, another hot mess again. And I was like, I should never have even started this card. But I was able to kind of fix it, and I just scratched it off with a razor blade with my craft knife and also one of those erasers, and it worked out okay. So this pretty much wraps up my card. I would like to know in the section below, have you ever started a card halfway through and then just stopped full tilt because you're like, this is not, I just can't rescue this? I have been there many times, and this is one of those, but I thought I'm just going to share all the struggles I had along the way so you can see that, you know, even when you're a seasoned card maker, you can still kind of rescue stuff. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and the card. Please stop over at Micah's channel to check out her artwork and her card making. Thank you for subscribing, thumbs upping, and commenting. I love hearing from all of you guys, and have a great crafty day. Ciao for now.